Hey everyone, me Kevin here. We're on a boat to, where are we going?
Alcatraz.
We're going to Alcatraz. So there's San Francisco. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see that pretty well. But anyway, I wanted to talk about the strategy of potentially Lyft being acquired by Tesla. A few things to know. Quick facts. It's selling for about a one peg, potentially even under a one peg. It's kind of always been sort of the stepchild of Uber. Uber sells for about a 26x market cap multiple to Lyft. Now, obviously, Lyft has a substantially lower revenue base than Uber has. But when we think about what a Lyft acquisition at $7 billion could potentially do for Tesla, kind of makes you start thinking a little bit. Tesla obviously bobs between a $500 million market cap to $1.5 trillion. So from a market cap basis, if we did a stock transaction, even at a 40% premium, a little bit more than 40% at say $10 billion or even $12 billion, we're really talking about on the high end, 2% of Tesla's market cap to acquire Lyft. Now, a lot of folks initially say, Kevin, this is crazy. Tesla can generate their own Lyft app. They've been able to build out a self-driving stack. They've been able to build out vehicles. They've been able to build out Optimus robot prototypes. They've been able to build out phenomenal vehicles that, I drive the Cybertruck. Lauren's got the Model S. My father drives my Black X. And what you find is that, yes, Tesla's going to have a fantastic app. I have zero concerns about that. What I'm more concerned with, and I think this is what institutional investors are looking at when it comes to Tesla, is getting the users. See, one of the reasons Uber sells at a premium to Lyft is because they have the monthly active user base, the people opening the app. And getting non-Tesla investors, everyday drivers or riders, I should say, to actually use the Tesla app might take A, a lot of advertising, and B, a lot of habit building. Because what usually happens with users of apps is they open them. If they don't find utility, those apps never get opened again. So somebody might be inspired to use the Tesla app, open the Tesla app, call for a ride, closest Tesla's 30 minutes away. They go back to Uber, they never come back. They're stuck with that impression forever. And that's a dangerous start for Tesla. Now, I don't think that initially, if we're just launching with, say, a fleet of 5 to 10 vehicles like Musk has talked about, I don't think that we're really going to be in a place where we really need the users day one, because we're starting in local markets like Austin. We're starting with 5 to 10 vehicles. There'll be plenty of demand just from Tesla investors wanting to use those. So this doesn't have to be right away. Lyft is just trading for, it's up 28% on the last trading day here, but it's still trading relatively low historically. And so it creates an interesting opportunity where once you scale to a national platform, instantaneously when somebody opens the Lyft app, you could potentially get a Tesla Robotaxi. It would now not only eliminate a competitor, probably the second most popular driver app, but it now gives Tesla one of the fastest distribution platforms for rider demand that they can then service with every user of, if we end up getting probably hardware 4, hopefully not hardware 5 vehicles, right? Like we want everybody with hardware 4 to be able to join the FSD network and the Robotaxi network. But imagine if you could immediately, if you have hardware 4 or you have hardware 3 and you get upgraded to 4, which will probably be a free upgrade, I'm guessing. Elon's alluded, well, he's pretty much bluntly said this in earnings calls. Then you could immediately have this massive supply. See, again, we don't need it on day one if we're just doing 5 or 10 vehicles in Austin. But what if you put 5 million, maybe not that many, say you put 2 million Teslas on the road with hardware 4? Well, now you need demand. And to build that demand in the Tesla app itself, I think will be very, very challenging, where you could potentially immediately have demand for a very, very small fraction of the market cap of what Tesla is trading for. So I actually think this is a very interesting strategic opportunity. I shout out Gary Black for mentioning this. Everyone's favorite Tesla investor, Ross Gerber, likes the idea as well. I saw some of their initial ideas on earnings and the valuation of Lyft. I see this as instantaneously unlocking massive demand for what could be a massive robotaxi network for hardware for Teslas. Now, there is also the downside risk, and maybe the executives at Tesla know this. There is also the risk that hardware 4 is just not robotaxi capable. In which case, then only hardware 5 or potentially even hardware 6 robotaxis would be available, which would be a very, very limited subset of vehicles, in which case you don't actually need more supply of riders, in other words, more ride demand, because you're not going to be able to fill it with a broader fleet anyway. So Tesla not trying to expand in the early launch phase their sort of pool of available riders could be a risk that they're not quite confident yet. Hopefully, after we get some of those initial Austin tests done, we actually prove the FSD capabilities of the Tesla Robotaxi very, very rapidly. And before Lyft gets too expensive, Tesla should make a tender offer. My take, I think it's a great strategy, especially if that's the direction we're going. Unless, of course, there's severe doubt inside of Tesla that they'll ever actually get to the Robotaxi level without LiDAR. How many Waymos have we seen in the time we've been here in San Francisco?
A lot, and one of them, like, one place there was like 5 in like one area.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not here to shill Waymo, but I will say Waymo has a 5-star review app. They have a lot of reviews. They clearly have a lot of demand down here. We saw a Waymo going up a parking structure, like up a ramp inside of a parking structure. This is pretty impressive. Now, I'm not saying Tesla can't pull that off. We know we can, but we're completely driverless. Now, we know they're geo-fenced, so they're mapped. There are probably some downsides, that I think Tesla can scale much faster. But again, if you believe that Tesla can scale so rapidly, then you should actually encourage the acquisition of more demand. Because if you believe FSD is so advanced, then we want that demand for our riders to eventually overtake even Uber. So that's my take. What do you think about that? Tesla Robotaxis?
Cool.
Would you rather be in a Tesla Robotaxi or a Waymo?
Wait, what's a Robotaxi again?
Self-driving Tesla.
Oh, probably Tesla.
Probably Tesla? So let me guess, you would try the Waymo, but then go right back to the Tesla.
Well, I don't really know because I've never been in a.
Okay, I'm going to take you in a Waymo today.
Okay.
How about this, though? What do you think? Cybertruck or Waymo? Let's go! Anyway, there you have it. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know some people are, oh, Tesla can build it themselves. It's not about building the app. Anybody can build an app. It's about having that non-engaged, non-Tesla investor opening up their phone and going, I need a ride. Boom, Lyft. That's what you need. That's the key perspective.